Shalom, 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 Yasha. This your boy, Brother Shamu Allah, back at you with another quick edifying video. Today's lesson is going to be called War is Inevitable. All right, first and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory. I want to say, call Halal Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Qadash. That's all praises to the Heavenly Father, whose name is Yahawah, and his only begotten Son's name, who you ignorantly call Jesus, whose name is Yahawashi. Right? And the Holy Spirit, which is the Rawchaa, double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone who have ruled well to the Spirit and have fed and edified the sheep in these last days, and has pushed this gospel and this truth to the four corners of the earth in these last days. A mighty shalom. Another mighty shalom to all you Akim out there laboring on the highways and hedges and on the unicorn, which is this internet pushing this 100% doctrine, this 100% truth to the four corners of the earth in these last days. A mighty shalom to you all as well. Came across a couple of articles. This one is from Newsweek, right? It says Russia to lift ban on nuclear missile deployment. All right. Like I said, the topic is war is inevitable, right? War is going to happen. All right. It's appointed time is to come. All right. So, the negotiations, the treaties, whatever you may say, hey, that's going to be out the window inevitably, right? Because the third woe is going to happen, right? And we're going to get a couple of scriptures after. I just want to read a couple of these, a couple of things in these articles that I got, and then we'll go into some scriptures. Lord's will, this is edifying. All right. So this is from Newsweek, published at 4:45 a.m., right? So it says Russia to lift ban on nuclear missile deployment. Lavrov, right? So it says Russia will abandon a nuclear arms treaty with the U.S., banning the deployment of short and intermediate range nuclear missiles. Moscow's foreign minister said. It said today it is obvious that, for example, a moratorium on the deployment of INF, or intermediate range nuclear missiles, is practically no longer viable and will have to be abandoned, Russia's longtime foreign minister Sergei Lavrov told Russian state news agency. Lavrov's comments, which aren't surprising, put a more formal end to a Cold War era arms control agreement at a moment when Russia is accused of nuclear saber rattling, and the U.S. looks on with deep concern at China's nuclear and military buildup. It says the INF treaty, signed in 1987 by Ronald Reagan and Mikhail Gorbachev, is no longer in force and does not bind either state. It said the INF treaty banned nuclear and conventional grounded launch ballistic and missiles, ballistic and cruise missiles with the range between just 300 miles and around 3,400 miles, right? So it says the U.S. formally pulled out of the INF treaty in mid-2019 during President-elect Donald Trump's first term in office, after accusing Russia of breaching the terms of the agreement by developing the SSC-8, also known as the 9M729 ground-launched cruise missile. It says NATO also accused Russia of violating the treaty, with which Moscow denied. It says both sides had suspended participation months earlier. Russia then said it would not deploy missiles banned under the treaty until U.S. manufactured missiles of similar classes are rolled out, known as its INF moratorium. It says Lavrov told RIA Novosti that the United States arrogantly ignored warnings from Russia and China and in practice moved on to develop weapons of this class in various regions of the world. Moscow has said to the U.S. Had violated the INF treaty with the Aegis Ashore system, a ballistic missile defense system deployed in Europe. It says the system is able to deploy long-range offensive cruise missiles, the Kremlin said. Washington denied this, saying the system is only capable of launching defensive interceptive missiles allowed under the treaty, right? So basically, they're getting rid of this treaty that they had from the Cold War, all right? It looks like America had already, with Nero, had already kind of abandoned it, right? What more now, all right? Why? Because war is inevitable, right? This war is going to happen, all right? Says Trump, as he pulled the U.S. from the treaty, said Washington would move forward with developing its own intermediate range, conventionally armed ground-launched missile system. It says in April, the U.S. military said it had deployed the mid-range capabilities, or the MRC missile system, to the northern Philippines, which can fire Tomahawk cruise missiles with a range of 1,000 miles. This would have breached the INF treaty if they had still been in force. All right, so they're doing that, and it's like a game of checkers and chess, man. All right, but you see, America had already pulled out of it, right? So why? So that they could create, these, different weapons and put them in other places, right? So they could, strategically place their weapons. All right. Let's move on, right? So this is another article that I've seen from the Associated Press, right? And you got all this stuff going on, right? That's why war is inevitable. Salakia, this is Biden announces nearly $2.5 billion more in military aid for Ukraine, right? So right now, we did a lesson the other day about, 18% of the population is homeless here in Babylon, right? Here in America, right? Because they can't find affordable housing, but we can give $2.5 billion for military aid to Ukraine. All right. So that just shows you, the mindset, that Babylon does not, they're not for their people. All right. This is, it says President Joe Biden said Monday that the United States would send nearly $2.5 billion more in weapons, right? They've already sent, billions, right? It says in weapons to Ukraine as his administration works quickly to spend all the money it has available to help Kyiv fight off Russia before President-elect Donald Trump takes office. The package includes $1.25 billion in presidential drawdown authority, which allows the military to pull existing stock from its shelves and get weapons to the battlefield faster. It says it also has $1.22 billion in longer-term weapon packages to be put on contract through the separate Ukraine Security Assistance Initiative, or the USAI. All right. Biden said all longer-term USAI funds have now been spent, and that he seeks to fully use all the remaining drawdown money before leaving office. Right? So they want to use up all this money, right? And remember, the national debt ceiling is soon to be approaching, that they're about to hit this thing, and they're trillions of dollars in debt, right? Yet they're still spending $2.5 billion, right? But you still got people sleeping on the streets, right? This is why war is inevitable, man. Right? It says, I have directed my administration to continue surging as much assistance to Ukraine as possible, as quickly as possible, Biden said in a statement. At my direction, the United States will continue to work relentlessly to strengthen Ukraine's position in this war over the remainder of my time in office. In addition to the weapons support, Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen announced Monday that the U.S. is also providing $3.4 billion in economic assistance to Ukraine to help pay for critical critical government services during its ongoing fight against Russia. The money will pay salaries for civilian government and school employees, healthcare workers, and first responders, right? Now just think about that. You got people who, struggling with, debt here and can't get anything. You know what I mean? This is how wicked this place is, man. Right? It says the new military aid comes as Russia has launched a barrage of attacks against Ukraine's power facilities in recent days. Although Ukraine has said it will pay salaries for civilian governments, school employees, healthcare workers, and first responders. It says the new military aid comes as Russia has launched a barrage of attacks against Ukraine. Oh, Salaki, I think I already read that. It says, although Ukraine has said it intercepted a significant number of the missiles and drones, Ukrainian forces are also still in a bitter battle around the Russian border region of Kursk, where Moscow has sent thousands of North Korean troops to help reclaim territory by Ukraine. It says the Biden administration is pushing to get weapons into Ukraine to give Kyiv the strongest negotiation position possible for Trump's inauguration on January 20th. Trump has talked about getting some type of negotiated settlement between Ukraine and Russia and has praised Russian President Vladimir Putin. Says many U.S. and European leaders are concerned that Trump's talk of settlement might result in a poor deal for Ukraine, and they worry that he won't provide Ukraine with all the weapons funding approved by Congress. The weapon systems being pulled from existing stockpiles through this latest weapons packages include counter unmanned aerial systems, ammunition, air defense munitions, ammunition for high mobility artillery rocket systems, 155 millimeter and 105 millimeter artillery ammunition, air-to-ground ammunitions, anti-armor systems, tube-launched missiles, fragmentation grenades, and other items and spare parts, including Monday's announcement. The U.S. has provided more than $65 billion in security assistance to Ukraine since Russia invaded its neighbor in February 2022. All right. So $65 billion. Right. But they don't have money for their own people. All right. But this is why war is inevitable, man. Right. Ultimately, war is inevitable. And it was already prophesied. All right. So let's get that real quick. Let's go to, let's pull a couple of scriptures. All right. This has already been prophesied. All right. Let's go to the book of Revelation. All right. Revelation 11 and verse number 14. Right. It says, the second woe is past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly. All right. Those woes are talking about world wars, right? So the second world war is past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly. All right. So this is inevitable, right? The Lord is stirring up the hearts, of the kings, to push this. All right. What is that? Salakia. Just look this up. We can get this. Salakia. Let's go to the book of Proverbs, right? There's nothing that anybody can do to stop this. All right, this has already been prophesied. Proverbs chapter 21, and let's go to verse number 1. It says, the king's heart is in the hand of Yahawah, Bahasham Yahawashi. As the rivers of water, he turneth it whithersoever he will. All right? He turneth it whithersoever he will. All right? And the Lord is going to put the spirit upon these nations, to rise up to war against each other. All right? And when you go to the book of Ezekiel, you have Gog, right, which is Russia. Let's get that, Salakia. Ezekiel, what is it, 38, I believe. Let's see if we can pull it. Right, here we go. This is the book of Ezekiel chapter 38. And let's go to verse number 2. It says, Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog, the chief priests of Meshach and Tubal, and prophesy against it. Right, let's jump down to verse 4. It says, and I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth and all thy army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords. All right. And these ultimate modern day swords are these ICBM missiles, right? These intercontinental ballistic missiles, right? That the Lord is going to use in this third war. This third woe. It says Persia, Ethiopia, and Libya with them, all of them with shield and helmet. Gomer and all his bands, the house of Togarmah of the north quarters, and all his bands, and many people with thee, right? And we see, you have these BRICS nations, right, who are, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and I believe it's South Africa, if I'm not mistaken, right? These BRIC nations, plus these other nations who are joining, right, the forces of Russia, right, or Gog, right, and guess what? They're going to be there. The Lord is going to put the spirit upon them to hate the whore, which is Babylon, which is America, all right. And this war is going to happen, all right, because the Lord has prophesied it, all right, that this is going to happen, all right. When you put hooks in the jaws, right, you put hooks in the jaws of a horse, you use that to lead the horse where you want to go. That's what the Lord is doing, to the spirit of these kings out here, right, these presidents, and these leaders, right, that the Lord is using, okay. So while you got, Sleepy Joe trying to get rid of all his weaponry and trying to push out all this stuff, right? And, you had Nero before when he was in office who basically abandoned the treaty that they had. Hey, well, now Russia's like, yeah, we gone too, So this stuff is inevitable, right? It says the second woe has passed, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly. All right, this third woe is coming, and there's nothing that anybody can do to stop it. All right. And this war is going to be fought, with fire, right? It says for every battle of the warrior, this is Isaiah chapter 9, verse 5, with confused noise and garments rolled in blood. It says, but this shall be with burning and fuel of fire. All right. This third woe, or the World War III, is going to be fought with fire. All right. We're talking about those ICBM missiles, those nuclear weapons. All right. That the Lord has created. All right. The Lord is going to use those weapons in this third war, and there's nothing or anything that can stop that. All right. So it says, for every battle of the warrior is with confused noise and garments rolled in blood. It says, but this shall be with burning and fuel of fire. Okay? This shall be with burning and fuel of fire. All right? Because the Lord has appointed this to bring judgment upon this place. All right? Isaiah 54, verse number 16. Right? It says, behold, I have created the smith that bloweth the coals in the fire and bringeth forth an instrument for his work. For whose work? For Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi work. It says, I have created the waster to destroy. And those wasters are these ICBM missiles, these thermonuclear weapons. All right, these nuclear weapons that are going to be used in this third woe. All right, which is the like it was saying, this shall be with burning and fuel of fire. All right, because the Lord is going to use these weapons, in these times to destroy this place. All right, I think it was another one. Let's go to that real quick. Let's go to Jeremiah 51 and 11. Let's see what that is. All right. Yep. It says, Jeremiah chapter 51 and 11, it says, make bright the arrows, right? Those arrows are talking about those missiles. All right. Gather the shields. Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi hath raised up the spirit of the kings of the Medes for his device against Babylon. That device is that waster, those ICBM missiles, to destroy it, because it is the vengeance of Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi, the vengeance of his temple. Okay, so the Lord is there's nothing that's going to stop this. All right, because it's been prophesied. All right, and it's going to. The Lord has spoken it, and it shall be. All right. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 55, verse 11. It says, so shall my word be that go forth out of my mouth. It shall not return unto me void, but it shall accomplish that which I please, and it shall prosper in the thing whereto I sent it. Okay? And the Lord is putting the spirit upon these presidents, these leaders, right? To get this stuff ready. All right. We've seen, all throughout last year, they're testing these weapons. All right. They're testing these intercontinental ballistic missiles, right? That go from one continent to the next continent. Why? Because this stuff is about to be used. They're practicing, right? You're practicing in a battle. They've had, all last year they were having like, what do you call that? Like war trainings, like all these different nations getting together and practicing and doing war games. Practicing what? For this third woe, man, because it's coming. All right? It's coming, and it's coming quickly. All right? We know that the MOTB has to be implemented, before this said fire of destruction really comes. All right? But we understand that this stuff it's going to come whether you like it, love it, believe it or not. All right? Because the king's hearts or the king's minds are in the hands of Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi. All right? And it's going to be inevitable. All right? It's going to be inevitable. The day of the Lord's fury. All right? When these missiles are launched. All right? So I just want to do this quick lesson. Lord's will, it was edifying. Right? With that, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory. I want to say, Call Halal Yahawah, Bahasham Yahawashi, Bahasham, Rawchaa Qadash. Right? Peace and blessings to the elect of the 12 tribes scattered abroad. A mighty shalom to the 144,000 men and to the rest of the elect. Stay diligent, stay focused. Keep praying for one another. Right? And understand that, the Lord has prophesied these things to happen, and they're going to happen. All right? The third woe is coming quickly. All right? And we keep our faith, and pray that Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi will make a speedy riddance in this place. And the Lord will deliver his elect. All right? We continue to pray, with Psalms 91, to hide us in the secret places. All right? And that none will touch our dwelling. All right? Because the Lord is coming, and he's coming to bring vengeance upon this place. All right? With that, I want to say shalom.